Lovely. So yes, if you have props, have them nearby, but we're going to start lying on our backs in Shavasana. So take a moment to get comfy, have a wriggle, do whatever you need to do. Take a nice deep breath in through the nose, big sigh out of the mouth. Let yourself feel a little softer, a little bit heavier. And start to draw your breath deep into your belly. So focusing on that breath. Steady, controlled breath. Noticing how that feels for you today. Taking a moment to run a little body scan from the top of your head all the way out to your fingertips, all the way down to your toes. Take a moment to check in with all the different parts of yourself. See how they're feeling. Notice which parts of you need rest, which parts of you need a bit of movement. When you're ready, we're going to draw the right knee into the chest, interlace the fingers around the shin. Draw the knee into the body. Doesn't need to be a tight squeeze. It can be gentle. Keep that steady breath. Actually, we are going to grab a brick. So if you can just find one of your bricks, lie yourself back down. You're going to pop it on its fairly tall setting to out to the side of your left hip. So you're going to use an exhale to roll the right knee across the body onto the bricks. You might need to adjust it. I find it's a little bit more supportive if it's under my shin rather than under my knee. Take a moment. See if you can keep your shoulders flat on the ground. Just taking that knee over. Let the hips roll as much as they need to. Keep breathing. One more breath, breathe. Gently roll yourself back, flat on the ground. Take that right leg out long again and pop your brick over the other side. So knee your right hip and the left knee is going to come into the body, interlacing the fingers. Nice deep breaths, just hugging the knee into the chest to start with. ready, let the left arm come out to the side and draw that left knee over to the right side. Let it rest on whatever setting feels most comfortable on your brick. Let the hips roll so you can keep those shoulders down. Keep that big breath. One more breath in. Use an exhale to bring yourself onto your back again. Bending up the knees, taking the feet wider than the hips and maybe mat width apart. Arms can be wherever they are, wherever you want them. You can rest your hands on your belly, have your arms alongside you. Take the feet maybe mat width apart, and we're going to flow, so moving with the breath. As you exhale, knees are going to go to the right first. Inhale to bring them to center, and then exhaling left. So keeping that going. Inhaling to bring the knees up, and exhaling to take them to the side. So just move the knees as much as it feels comfortable, and where you can retain control of the complete movement. Slowing the movement down as much as you need to match the length of your breath. Everyone's breath's going to be slightly different. If you want to add on to this, you can take the arms up overhead. So if you haven't got space to stretch the arms out straight, you can hold on to opposite elbows. Keep the knees moving nice and steady. If you're holding opposite elbows, switch the grip the weird way around. Keep the knees going. One more on each side. You're going to hug the knees into the chest. Give yourself a little squeeze for a moment. And then lying flat on your back, hands to your knees. We're going to start with small circles with the knees, moving into the hip. See how that feels, and then make the circles a little bit bigger. You can get as big as you like. Just make sure that however big they are, you're still comfortable with that movement. One more going in this direction. And then we're going to swap back the other way. Maybe making the circles a little smaller this time. And then bringing yourself to stillness, dropping the heels down to the mat. So try not to have the feet too close to each other. Get them as close to your hips as you can get them. So you want your ankles roughly under your knees. There's lots of support from your bones. Oh, my words have gone to pot this week. So arms can be a little way away from the body, resting on the ground. We're going to do some pelvic tilts. So as we do these, we're going to start with a round of 10. As we do these, I just want you to think about moving each vertebrae in the spine as individually as you possibly can. So really slowing the movement down, and maybe each time you lift a little bit higher, just see how things feel, take it at your own pace. If you think you're going to struggle to keep your knees nice and parallel, then pop a block between your knees so you've got a little reminder to squeeze the knees to keep them nice and stable. And whenever you're ready, use an exhale to press through the whole sole of the foot. You might find your hips start to want to lift. Maybe you let them. And then as you inhale, let them roll back down, vertebrae by vertebrae. Next exhale, pressing through the feet. Maybe the hips come up a little higher. Inhale to take them back down, nice and slow, rolling through the spine. So you've got 8 more. Counting your own breath, focusing on how it feels for you. Maybe closing your eyes if that helps you tune into the sensation. Whenever you finish, take a moment to rest, maybe rock the knees side to side, maybe hug them in. No rush, take your time. Release any tension that you build up. Once you've had a little break, a little wriggle, taking a moment to reset. This time we're all going to grab a brick, pop that between our knees. So on any setting that fits in the gap that you've got, and we're going to deliberately squeeze the brick this time, so we're engaging some slightly different muscles. And we're going to come up and hold a bridge for 5 breaths. So we're aiming to get the hips between the shoulders and the knees in a nice straight line. That's what we're aiming for. See how you get on. If you can't hold it for all 5 breaths, then feel free to roll back down when you've had enough. So on an exhale, pressing through the sole of the foot or both feet, lifting the hips up, finding that midpoint, squeezing the brick with your knees. Nice steady breaths. Keep pressing through the whole foot. Keep squeezing the knees. Maybe one more breath there. And then use your next breath to gently roll the spine back down bit by bit. Nice and slow, touching back down to the ground. Removing the brick, giving the knees a little wiggle or a little hug into the chest, whatever feels better in your body. Going to start to rock and roll up and down the spine, so hugging the knees in, going from tailbone to shoulders. If you don't like doing this, then you can come up and over onto all 4s. Otherwise, maybe a couple more little massage for the back. And then try not to hit any furniture or any walls as you roll up to all 4s. They're taking a moment to find a nice strong tabletop position. The wrists roughly under the shoulders, somewhere nice and stable, pressing the ground away, gripping them up with your fingertips, and maybe they turn a little white, pressing down through the knuckles, long through the spine, so just taking care not to drop the head down. You're pressing through the tops of the feet a little bit. Do some cat-cow. Again, we're going to focus on the movement through the spine. So as you inhale, stick the tailbone up to the sky, let the movement roll through the spine, belly's going to drop, chest lifts forward, looking up. As you exhale, tuck the tailbone, let that movement snake up through the spine, press the ground away, head hangs heavy. Keeping that going. So inhaling, tailbone sticks up, belly comes down, chest lifts. As you exhale, tucking the tailbone, back starts to arch. Follow your breath. Keep going. Keep pressing the ground away with the fingers, with the knuckles. Again, you can close your eyes if that helps you focus on the sensations. As you come into your cat, think about drawing the front of your belly in towards the spine as well. So you're making as much space underneath you each time you come to cat as you possibly can. Couple more breaths, nice and slow. Last one coming up. And then bringing yourself to neutral, so nice long spine, flat back again. Then we're going to step the right foot forward. And we're going to grab our bricks again, either side of our foot. So we're going to find a sort of runner's lunge. So you're going to press down on your blocks and lift the chest away from the knee as much as you can. So depending on your proportions, you might find that you need your bricks a little higher or a little lower. You see if you can lengthen through the front of the body. Draw that left hip a little bit forward. Nice deep breath. We're going to try and hold this shape. We're going to tuck the back toe. See if you can straighten up the back leg, lift the knee. That feels really horrible. You can take it back down, see how you go. Keep breathing nice and deep. On your next exhale, take that knee back down. You remove your bricks, hands come down, and the right knee is going to go back where it came from. And we're going to swap over, so stepping the left foot forward, grabbing your blocks, lifting the chest. Bring that right hip a little forward this time. Making sure you're pressing down through that left foot, and when you're ready, tuck the right toe. See how it feels to lift that back knee up, press out through that back heel. One more breath here. Gently exhale, bring the right knee down. Remove the blocks, hands down, back to your tabletop. I'm going to walk the hands a little bit further forwards. And have a little go with this swooping cat-cow. So you're going to take your shoulders with your hands, so they're still over the wrist, still using your fingers, using your knuckles, pressing down through the ground. You can have the toes touch, you can have the feet flat, it's up to you. On an exhale, you're going to arch the back as you sit your bum back towards your heels. As you inhale, keep the elbows close as you sort of skim your chest across the ground, lifting up at the front. Exhaling to arch the back, sit towards the heels. Inhale, chest skims forward and up, arms straightening at the front. Keeping that going. Nice steady breaths. Controlled movement. One more. And then resetting in your tabletop. You're going to step that right foot forward again, grab those bricks, lift the chest. Whenever you're ready, tucking the toes, finding that back leg nice and straight. Think about pressing down through the front foot. Think about leveling the hips, so maybe drawing that left hip a little forward. Have a little play with the bricks, find the best setting for you. Last breath. Exhale to release the knee. Hands come down. Right leg goes back. Straight to the other side. So left foot comes forward. Finding your bricks. Getting set up. And then when you're ready, if you feel like doing it again, tucking that back toe, lifting knee. If you need to adjust the height of your bricks once that knee is off the ground, feel free. Again, think about pressing through the front foot and leveling those hips and maybe drawing the right hip a little forward this time. One more breath. Releasing the knee, hands down, left knee back where it came from, and then find a child's pose. So any version, you might want your knees together, you might want them apart, hands reaching forward, back, supporting your head, whatever they need to be. Have a wriggle if you need a wriggle. Have a sigh if you need a sigh. And then we're going to come back up to a tabletop. We do a little something with the top part of the body this time. So from your tabletop, you can do thread the needle. So nice solid starting point. We'll start with the right arm. You're going to inhale, lift it to the sky, open the chest to the side of the room. As you exhale, reach underneath the left hand as far as you can. We're not coming down this time. We'll do a few little flows. So inhale to lift all the way up again, nice and long through the body. Exhale, reaching under. One more time. Inhale, lift for the sky. Exhale, reaching through as far as you can, and then let the hand, the shoulder, the head come down. If you need support, if the ground feels a long way away, you can support yourself on blocks. Left hand can stay in front of the face for support, or it can slide up towards the top of the mat. Nice deep breaths. One more breath here. Bring the left hand in front of the face first if you stretched it out. As you inhale, press down so that you can lift the right hand all the way back up to the sky. Exhale, hand touches down, straight over to the other side. So inhale, left hand reaches up. Exhale, reaching under. Inhale to lift for the sky. Exhale, reaching through. Last one, inhale, lifting. Exhale, reach as far as you possibly can before you bring yourself down. Decide where that right hand is going. Nice deep breaths. One more breath. And the right hand comes back in front of the face. Use an inhale to press down with your fingers as you reach the left hand all the way back up to the sky. Exhale, hand comes down. Okay. Back in your tabletop again. Right foot steps forward again. Oops. Try not to kick your blocks like me. Lifting through the chest. Same thing, if you're ready, if you want to, tucking that back toe, straightening that back leg. Drawing the left hip a little forward. Maybe adjusting your bricks, finding a little bit more space if you need it. Okay. So we're going to add on a little bit here this time. I'm going to lift the chest. So it's up to you whether you keep that back knee up or you take it back down. And then we're going to reach the arms up, so we're in a lunge. So that back knee can be down or up. It's up to you. Drawing the hips forward, reaching the arms up. Lovely, nice big breath. Last breath. And we're going to bring that back knee down. If it's lifted, hands are going to come down to the mat, sending that right leg back where it came from. Left knee is foot's going to come forward, let it work, keep kicking the bricks. Same thing, finding that little forward lunge, straightening the back leg for a couple of breaths. Find that nice stable base. And whichever felt better on the first side, we're just going to do the same on this side. So knee can stay up or it can go down. And when you're ready, lift the arms up. Nice. And try to draw that right hip forward. Reach for the sky with those fingertips. And on an exhale, back knee comes down first. Hands come down to the mat. Left knee goes back where it came from. Have a little sit back into your child's pose. This time, take the knees wide and reach the hands forward. Just notice how your shoulders feel. Whether they feel tight, whether they feel like they've got space. If you need more spacing, if it helps to take the hands further apart from each other. Nice deep breath. If you have lots of space in your shoulders, and the hands can come together in prayer, and you can bend the elbows so the thumb comes to the base of your skull. So just see how things feel. Find a spot that feels good. Breathe nice and steady. One more breath. We're going to bring ourselves back up to tabletop. We're going to come to puppy pose. So it's another little one for the shoulders. So hips stay over knees, hands walk away, arms nice and straight. So keep the same width that you had if you need it. Either your forehead, your chin, or your chest, reaching for the mat. If you need to prop yourself up, please do. Nice steady breath. On your next inhale, press through the hands and forearms, lift the hips up and forward to the mat. So the chest's going to come up. Find your Sphinx pose. So see if you can get your elbows roughly under your shoulders so you can firmly press down into them. Spread the fingers wide, press through the forearms, press through the hands. Keep the chin a little tucked so the back of the neck is long. It might feel nice to press down through the hips. Tops of the feet should be touching the ground. You can see how it feels to press through them as well. So nice and active, nice and strong. Shoulder blades drawing down the back, pressing through those elbows. One more breath. Releasing the chest down to the mat. Put your hands under your shoulders. And we're going to bring ourselves. Oh, my brain's gone. Where are we going? We are going to come to kneeling. That's where we're going. So, have your strap nearby. You may or may not need it. Depends on your shoulders. Just going to do a little bit more with them. So if we start, we take the right arm, reach up for the sky, bend at the elbow so the hand comes between the shoulder blades right up at the top of your back. So you can keep your head in its sort of normal position as though you were standing up straight. You might want to give the elbow a little nudge. If that feels tight, you may well want to stay there. You might want to see if you can reach behind and find your fingertips. If you can't find your fingertips, you can dangle the strap from that top hand and grab the bottom, lower down with the bottom hand. Whatever you're doing, make sure your head is kind of loose and there's space for it. Breathing nice and deep. One more breath. Gently let go of the strap if you're holding on to it. Reach the arms out to the side, have a nice big stretch. We'll go straight to the other side. So left arm goes up, elbow bends. Give it a little nudge, have a little wriggle, find that space. And then again, you can stay there. You can reach behind, find fingertips, which I don't have on this side. So again, you can bring the strap in if that's going to help. Sitting up tall, nice long neck, nice deep breaths. Keep that elbow nice and lifted. Just one more breath here. And dropping the strap, arms reach up nice and wide, have a big stretch. And then come up to a tall kneeling position and bring yourself somewhere towards the middle of the mat. So you've got space. Well, it doesn't need to be the middle of the mat, but as long as you've got space, the limbs either side of you, that's the main thing. So we're going to start with the right leg out. We're going to do a little flow. It's similar to one we've done before, but it's ever so slightly different. So I think there's a cat that's going to try and break into my flat in a minute. So we'll see how we go. We're going to inhale, sweep the left arm up, have a little side bend over the extended leg. Exhale is going to take that hand down to the ground and float the right foot up. That's optional, see how it feels. Inhale to lift up, find that side bend again. Exhale, finding that side plank variation. See if you can float that leg. Keep it going. One more. You're going to end up in that side plank variation. Maybe the leg is hovering. You're going to hold there. Reach the top hand up to the sky. Look at your lovely fingers. So that's weird on the neck. Look at the other lovely fingers. Big breaths, nice strong straight line through the body. One more breath. And releasing that leg, bringing the knees together, finding yourself back in the middle. Have a little wriggle, any little stretches or movements you need, and then we'll set up for the other side. So left leg out, nice and tall through the body. Use an inhale to reach the right arm up and over. Exhale, hand comes down, foot floats up. Same again. You might need to try a couple of different positions with that hand as it comes down. Find the right spot to balance. One more. And holding in that little balance. Reaching up through the top hand, looking at your fingers. Nice deep breath, pressing the ground away with that bottom hand. One more breath. And then taking yourself back to a kneeling position and finding your way to a child's pose again. And taking the time here to check in again, see how things feel. See how your breath is. One more breath. And gently lift yourself up and bring yourself back over onto your back. Grab your strap, take your strap with you. Make sure it's within reach. We'll use it in a moment. We're going to keep the knees bent to start with. We're going to do a little bit more work on those hips. So we're going to send, just so you can see more clearly, we're going to send the left leg out long along the mat to start with. So the right knee just stays bent. I'm not really worried about that right leg for the moment. What we're going to focus on is this left leg and how much movement we can make with the leg straight. So I want you to try this with your foot flexed and then with your foot pointed and see which feels strongest for you, and then just work with whichever one that is. Everyone's a little bit different. So we're just going to try and, so let's start with it flex. So flex out through the heel, press the heel away, toes up towards the sky. So you inhale, you're going to lift the leg straight as high as it will go without the knee bending. If the knee bends, go back. As you exhale, take it all the way down. So just going to keep lifting it. So this time point your toe. As you inhale, lift the leg. Leg stays straight. Exhale, take it back down to the ground. See which foot shape feels better. And keep that going. Just make sure that the knee doesn't bend. Nothing wrong per se, it's just keeping some other bits out of the equation. If you feel like making this harder, I don't know why you would, but if you do, you can straighten the right leg and then carry on lifting the left leg. Following your breath, so use the full breath to lift up and the full breath to lower down. So it's nice, steady movement. Just one more. When the foot comes down to the ground, give your legs, your hips a little shake, a little wiggle, whatever you need. Release any tension, any weirdness that's crept in. And then we'll set up for the other side. So we'll start with that left leg bent, so you can see how it feels for you on this side. Same thing, let's start with that right foot nice and flexed. Use an inhale to lift the leg, keeping it straight, and exhale to lower it back down. Try this one with the foot pointed. Inhale to lift, exhale to lower. Choose the one that feels best for you. Keep going. See how much you can slow that movement down. Follow the breath. And if you have space in your concentration for a bit more, notice if any of your back is coming off the ground as you move, or if that's staying nice and firm. If you want to straighten out the left leg, feel free. If you find that that limits your movement in your right leg, that's normal, that's fine, don't worry about that. Three more breaths. Last one. Have a wriggle, have a shake, bend your knees, give yourself a hug, whatever you need to do to make that work. Lovely, how are we doing on time? Great. So we're going to have another little play with a bridge. So grab your brick. You have a play with a restorative one. We've done quite a little work with these little hip flexors. We've given them a stretch. We've given them a move. We're going to give them a little extra. So bring the heels back close to the bum. When you're ready, use an exhale to press through the feet. Lift the hips as high as you can get them. So don't worry about stopping in a straight line. Just lift them up, 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 up as high as you possibly can. Keep the knees kind of parallel. Grab the brick and you're going to wedge it under your pelvis. So somewhere around the top of your bum crack, really elegantly. You'll know when you've got the right spot, because when you release the weight of your hips onto the brick, it will feel solid. If it feels wobbly, lift the hips up again, give it a little move. So it doesn't matter what setting your brick is on, as long as it's the highest one you can fit underneath you, so you're not lowering down loads when you rest. So you can stay here if that feels stable. We might need a bit of getting used to. You're going to release the hips. It's a bit more restorative. You can straighten out the legs if you wish. A little bit more of a stretch in there. Arms can just rest down by your side. Keep the breathing nice and steady. Couple more breaths here. You can have straightened out your legs. Bring the feet back underneath. Your knees are nice and solid. When you're ready, press down through the feet, lift the hips up again. If you need more space, you can come up onto your tiptoes, grab your brick, and then slowly roll the spine back down onto the ground. The little knees are dropped from one side to the other, nice and slow. We're going to have a little play with happy baby before we wrap up. So we're going to do a half happy baby. So left leg is going to stay where it is, sole of the foot on the ground. You're going to kind of create a right angle in your right knee, flex your right foot, send the right knee towards your armpit. So you might be able to sit up, catch the foot, and lie back down with your head and neck on the ground. If you can't get your head and shoulders back onto the ground, you've got two options. You can either pop blankets and cushions underneath your head and shoulders, or you can pop a strap around your foot to make your arm longer. It's your choice. See which feels better. Aiming for that knee to come into the armpit, but stay flexed. Nice deep breaths. One more breath on this side. Gently release your foot. Send it back down to the mat. Keep that knee bent. We're going to go over to the left side. Flexed foot, right angle in the knee, grabbing a hold of that foot or popping your strap around the ball of the foot. Sitting back, nice relaxed head and shoulders. Nice deep breaths. One more breath. Gently release that foot, have a little wiggle. And one more pose. I'm going to give you a choice, just because I know it's a bit tricky. So either you can come into a full happy baby, both knees aiming for an armpit, so you can get that right angle bend, catch the sole of your foot. If your hips really lift up a bit like mine do, so you can roll them back down to the ground. If that feels funky, not happy, then we're going to lie on our backs, take the soles of the feet together, drop the knees out to the side, grab our bricks and we'll pop them under the tops of the thighs so they can take a little bit of the weight for us. So your choice, full happy baby or reclined cobbler's pose. Wherever you are, trying to relax the face, head, neck, shoulders. Focus on that breath. One more breath. And hugging your knees into the chest. Make some silly faces. Give yourself a little squeeze. Have any other little wriggles that you need. And then find your way back to your Shavasana. If you fancy using props, bricks under your thighs, or bolster or cushion under your knees, feel free to step up any way that you're going to feel comfortable, relaxed. Take a nice deep breath in through the nose, filling up the lungs. Big long sigh out of the mouth. Same again. One more. Allowing yourself to feel soft, heavy. Notice the support you get from the ground beneath you. Allow yourself to take advantage of that. Let go of any effort, any expectation. Let yourself relax. Let your jaw be soft. Let your mind drift as you rest. draw a slightly deeper breath. Become more aware of your body. Allow a little bit of movement to creep back in. Taking any wriggles, any shapes, any stretches that you feel you need. When you're ready, bring the knees into the chest. Roll over onto whichever side you find most comfortable. Keep the body soft and relaxed. You can stay here for a couple of breaths if you wish. Start to bring yourself up to a seated position, anything comfortable. A couple of wriggles, stretches, whatever you need. Before we close, just going to do a little bit of massage. If you just take your fingers and find the edge of your jaw, follow it all the way up in front of, sort of your earlobes. Find where your jaw and your skull connect. Wriggle your jaw to help you find that point. And then press your fingers in those little circles into that joint. Not too strong. Rolling them back the other way. Anything that feels good. Last couple of moments. And then we're going to take our middle fingers to the top of our nose, between our eyebrows where they meet. And you're going to gently press your fingertip as you run the finger over the top of the eyebrow to the outside edge. And repeat that a couple of times. Maybe one more. Find your way to some stillness. Hands might rest over your heart or in prayer. Take a little moment to thank yourself for making time today to take care of your body, slow down, to look after yourself. Take a moment to thank your body for everything it does for you, everything it achieved in class. Take a little moment to thank each other for coming together, for sharing this time, sharing this practice. When you're ready, take the hands to prayer, and the prayer up to the forehead, the third eye space, is a reminder to think kind thoughts. Take the prayer to the lips for kind words, and to the heart for kind actions, marking the end of your practice with a little bow.